you were back in Provo when you were visiting a few weeks ago, and you actually went to church with us, and I think it was actually in Sunday school that they were teaching about the prophet Joseph Smith and how when the Book of Mormon was first printed, they of course sent missionaries out to teach the people whose book this is. And you shared a really interesting story, and that's what people may not realize is you actually are a seventh generation Mormon. Is that correct? Can you tell us just a little bit about what happened after the Book of Mormon went forth?
Well, the actual Book of Mormon was prophesied among our people. It's not just the Book of Mormon. It's there was prophesied to be one that would come. His Cheyenne name among us was All-Sewn-Up-Man, and because one of our, I guess you would call it, prophets or seers among the Cheyenne people saw him, and he was sewn up in some kind of clothing, and they didn't understand textile material. They understood woven material, but it was real big, so this was really fine, and so they didn't know how to describe it. They just said he was all sewn up into something, and it was wearing a kind of a modern day suit. was Joseph Smith. So he was the all-sewn-up man that would bring forth the little book that was based upon our ancient records of our people. And they looked for him, and when they finally found him, they said, "This is the church for us." So even though they couldn't understand, the little books were printed in English, and some of them could barely speak any English words at all, much less read or write it. So they knew it was the church, but they didn't understand the book, other than it was part of our records. So they asked to be baptized as soon as possible. So,
and many people were baptized kind of all at once, correct?
Yeah, so there was a whole band that got baptized in the beginning. And they told the missionaries, we can't understand your lessons, we can't understand your book, but we know it's true, we know it's been prophesied. So they just wanted them to take them down to the river and baptize them. So that's what the missionaries did. And they were the first generation. And then subsequent generations, we weren't kind of in the church like normal church members. We would just seek the church out, be baptized. And then up until my grandfather's day, on both sides, my grandmother and grandfather, they barely spoke any English. So up until 2 generations ago, they couldn't read the Book of Mormon. They could have it read to them, and they understood a lot of it, and they became members, but they weren't what you call just regular church members, where they were baptized at 8 years old. So yeah, throughout the generations, we knew it was true. I know my aunts, my mom, my grandparents, they were all born clutching. They were actually buried, not born. They were buried holding their Book of Mormons.
Wow. And
they were church members, even if, they couldn't make it to church, and they weren't regular, what we call dyed-in-the-wool Mormons. They all believed in it. They knew it was true, and they became members.